Guess who's back? But this time it's me hosting. I am interviewing Blind Spiral, the commissioner of our the league we love so much, our contract league. Blind, how are you doing?
Good. It feels weird. Doesn't this feel weird?
It
Feels
is.
weird.
This is the first time we've done this in
10
MGG
years.
history. Yeah. So, um,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we've done like so many countless like interviews, shows, whatever, and I've never opened one. so,
Yeah.
so yeah,
It's
this
literally
is
been 10
different.
years of this. At least 10 years of this.
Oh, yeah,
Literally.
like pre football, but yeah, the fantasy
Yeah.
football
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
even like the past. I mean, how long has this been alive? 3 years?
Football. This is our third year. Yeah.
Third
But
year,
like
yeah, this is
when
our
we
third
did
year.
video
So,
games, it started. It started when I was still selling cars, and that was. It started. It started when I had a kid that wasn't my kid. Do you remember that?
right? Yeah,
And that
yeah,
kid was
yeah.
born. That kid was getting
Yeah.
ready to be born here in 3 months. So,
Yeah, things.
yeah, fucking what a throwback. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
so you're doing the hosting. This is fun. Well, this is fun. We're both uncomfortable. It's great. So,
yeah, I mean, well, and I started talking a little bit about like league history and stuff, and that's where my first question for you is. I know it's going to put you on the spot right away, but what's your favorite NGG moment of all time? And we'll keep it just the football league
yeah,
because I know
like
there's
so
some
many good
awesome
reasons.
moments back then with fucking Connor and like the whale comment and all this other shit that nobody else knows what we're talking about, but we know. And
With the lore,
so
yeah,
yeah, it's
um,
the lore of our friendship, honestly.
yeah.
But yeah, what's your favorite NG moment of all time in the league? Like a trade that
Yeah.
happened that you were just like that was an awesome trade, both sides. Shit talking in the chat. A matchup you remember where you like maybe went into it and were like, I'm not gonna win this, and you crushed it. Just favorite moment of all time. And we'll give you a minute because I mean this is
Yeah, so I'm gonna totally cheat the question, right? I'm gonna totally talk about some of the things I can think of, like some of my highlights. I'm also totally cheating and pulling up um, stuff from the past. So I guess some of the first things I think the first things that come to mind is I remember being so excited for the startup draft. Like I was so excited for that. I remember scheduling it out like a month and a half and just being like so giddy for that to happen. So I would say part of the cop out answer is probably the startup draft just because how fun it was. Um, I mean, I traded my entire team away in a matter of days because that's what I do. Um,
yeah.
other
Actually,
other
I think you started with Lamar Jackson and then you
I
traded
did.
him like hours after the draft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, one of the
Uh,
biggest mistakes I made. Um, one of the other highlights was when I put out the first newsletter randomly, and everybody ate it up. Like everybody was really excited about it.
yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. Dare I say,
Yeah.
another highlight was getting the show going, especially with Cade. Like I loved having the three of us do it consistently. I think that was a lot of fun until the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Until it
uh,
devolved.
yeah,
Yeah.
until it evolved. I mean, the 80 for Brady review was great. I think that was fun to read and see. I liked the leading into last season. We like people like the guest writing of the top running back room, the top receiver
Yeah.
rooms. Um,
Everybody pitched in. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm looking back at the top 10 moments article that I wrote. Um, yeah, I mean, Cade taking over the team and making that fucking miracle run to the playoffs or the extra pick bracket where he should have been in the playoffs, but you made it in. When the division of death became the division of death, when Cam made the
Yep.
Burrow trade, was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, that was. We still both think that trade is cursed because he got Jefferson, I got Burrow.
yeah,
Jefferson got injured, then Burrow got injured, and it's like we just swapped injured dudes.
yeah.
It was
Um,
funny.
oh, I figured out the right answer, by the way. The right answer to that question. I'm going to come back to it though because of all the other things I'm trying to think about.
Yeah.
Um, I like the voting. Something I'll also remember, as stupid or silly as it was, is I remember being in the hospital when my son was born and trying to figure out how to record through the
Oh,
audio on my
wow.
phone the rule updates as he's asleep in a different room and doing that. I'll probably never
Yeah.
forget that. That was fun. But the right answer, truly, The most fun I've ever had in this league that I just remembered, the trade deadline in the first year when there were eight or
Oh,
nine
yeah.
of us. There were 8 or 9 of us in the Discord voice call talking until the deadline at the last minute. I mean, literally the last minute. I even remember we half cheated because it wasn't specified the timing of something, and
Oh, yeah.
so
And the
we ended up going another hour. We said, okay, fine, it'll go till 1 in the morning, and I can't remember what that was for. But it was me, you, K Migs was there. I think Cam was there. I know Cade was there. I knew Morgan was there, and we were there till like 1 in the morning trying to come up with a trade. That's when that Jamar Chase for a pile of shit happened.
Oh, yeah.
Jamar Chase Schultz,
Lockett.
and $75 for Lockett, Juwan Johnson, a
2/4,
second
yeah.
and 3/4.
Oh, 3/4. Okay. My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. So that's honestly the right answer. I think that's honestly my favorite moment was that trade deadline that year, and nobody showed up this year. So that was the most disappointing moment. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the right answer for sure.
Yeah, I mean, trading is the name of the game. I mean, this is, and obviously the player's playing, but yeah, trading is why we do this. Because if everyone just set a lineup, and then never got the opportunity to trade or manage the team, it's like, what, I
What
don't
are we
know.
doing? 'Cause,
Yeah, what are we doing?
should I here? I'll unveil a secret. It's not a secret, but where is it at? All these. Let me do this. Let me put the Google Drive on the screen of all the things I have.
Oh, I thought you were gonna open that dog shit website that somebody made. I don't know who. Like, I didn't pay anybody to make that, so
Close. No. So these are all the players that are on their original team still. I've been building this. I wanted to give someone a random shout out for being the last person to own a player on a team.
okay.
So there's 7 teams left, which means 5 teams don't have any of the original players anymore. I was the first one gone after the first season. But this is it. So Dan has Rogers, Taylor, Cup, and Osborne. Allen's got these 5. Brownet's got these 5. So, but that's it. So Chase, Rick, and I haven't kept a single person. The entire division of death still has at least one person, and then Morgan and Project have all turned over their entire team as well. So just a little something silly fun to look at that I was going to give somebody a shout out for one day. These are all the originally owned players. Some of them for great reason, you know what I mean? Like Hurts being there,
Yeah.
Stevenson. You won't shut the fuck up about Stevenson. But then you've got these, pretty shit contracts like Deshaun Watson and Najee Harris on here that are scary. This whole questionable setup right there. But yeah, there's a thing I've been sitting on for some time now with the intention of revealing one day and just haven't yet. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's pretty cool. Especially like considering like the whole like hometown discount, contender discount we're thinking about doing maybe.
yep.
So in the future, but
Yeah, that
Um,
contender discount's such a fun idea. I think there's just got to be a way to balance it. Hometown discounts
Yeah.
in there for sure. So if you drafted a guy, his re-sign is cheaper. But
right.
yeah, hometown discount should be something. I just don't know. Or contender discount should be something. The problem is I kind of fucked that for everybody. My initial thought is over 30 years old. You're going
Mhm.
to take a discount to sign with a team that came in the top 3. But then in
Like a
theory that
veteran.
applies. Yeah, but then in theory that applies to my team, right? I came in 4th, but let's say that I won that game against the Pandas and come in 3rd, and now I'm clearly undisputed 12th place. That player wouldn't sign with me, but black and white they would. So there's got to be something, but we got a whole year to think about it, I suppose.
Yeah.
We could figure it
And
out when we're
that's
all in
in-
Vegas for the draft together, right, K Migs?
Yeah, we'll see. I know there's been a lot of talk about that. But
Yeah, me too.
let's look a little bit at your team. Obviously, you had that great run last year, just completely dominated until you got to the playoffs. And then this year, full train ahead on that rebuild. I mean, yeah, you look at the roster, not really a ton of bright spots, but you have so much draft capital and you've got cap space, which I mean we've seen what Rick's done, already in his 1 year with that team, turned around, put it into at least extra pick contention. I know he probably disagrees, but like I feel like if Rick made it to the extra pick, I wouldn't be surprised.
I agree.
And just with that said, I mean, you don't have like zeros on the roster, but a question I had for you is, do you have any predictions for your team's top scorer this year, because outside of like maybe Kirk Cousins if he plays the full year, but I know you're high on Penix and I know other people are too. Does Penix like start week 14 or something, and then that lowers Kirk's numbers? So, who do you think is going to be your top scorer?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go with one of the quarterbacks, especially since this format's interesting. So Cousins is the first instinct, but the thing with Cousins is that he's what, 36, something like that. Rodgers is 40. I'd be happy to bet that Cousins or Rodgers has a Matt Ryan type year to the Colts. Like, because think Matt Ryan fell off a cliff out of nowhere. I remember going into the startup draft thinking I'm getting Matt Ryan for cheap, and then I didn't. I don't remember why. Somebody else got him, but I remember wanting to go not all in on Matt Ryan, God forbid, but I remember wanting to get him. But I would bet a comfortable amount of money that either Cousins or Rodgers looks like complete trash this year. I hope that's not the case. There's also the upside. Like I think Cousins could have the widest variance in terms of what happens for him this season. If you told me Cousins ends at QB 8, 9 with his weapons, I wouldn't be shocked. If you told me he ended at 28 or 29, I wouldn't be shocked. So I don't know. I don't think Penix comes in unless barring disaster. I think they'll keep Kirk going. His dead cap hit next year is like 60 million, so he's there for this year and next year. But after that, they could save 60 million by cutting him, which is when I think Penix will come online. I would say it's Cousins or Wilson, just because they're quarterbacks. If I had to not pick one of them, my head goes to Curtis Samuel, just because who the fuck else is Allen going to throw to other than his wide receiver one, Dalton Kincaid? Maybe Mims, just because the Broncos cut Tim Patrick, so he's probably starting. My heart says Thielen. I think Thielen and Deontay are going to be PPR machines this year.
People counted Thielen out last year, and he was like a wide receiver one through like the first 7 weeks?
7, 8, 9 weeks. Yeah, he was getting starts to me every single week. I was trying to offload it because I knew it wasn't going to last, but nobody bit.
That's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would think Samuel, Mims, or Thielen. I think Deontay's going to eat up a lot of those targets, but I think Thielen's that trusted veteran. Put him in the slot, put him outside, plug where you need to guy. I think that they're going to want to keep him around for Bryce Young. I was hoping the Eagles would trade for him as our wide receiver 3. With Dotson, but that's my first instinct. I like Tyler Boyd. He's sneaky. Maybe whichever. If one of these guys takes a clear lead over in the backfield, which who the fuck knows. But yeah, my heart says Thielen. My head says Samuel.
So not the quarterback, Thielen and Samuel. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea for the receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to, if I had to put money on one of these guys, it'd be Cousins. I think I would go Cousins, Wilson, Thielen, Samuel.
Yeah,
that would be my order if I had to guess. They're all dog shit, to be clear. Like they're not going to do anything. These guys are guys that I hold on to, wait for someone to get hurt, and show up in the inbox 5 minutes after the 5 minutes after any quarterback goes down in a non-contact injury, gripping his knee. Expect a trade offer in your inbox of Kirk Cousins in a second for your first and third. Like that's kind of what's going to happen. And I'll agree to pay for parts of the contract if I can keep the third. Like that's pretty much the game plan. I mean, my team's on. I think this year my team's 12th. If I win a game, you're kicked out of the league. I think next year I have the ability to possibly compete for an extra pick. But then the year after that, I mean, I'm loaded.
Yeah.
Nobody on the roster. $15 in dead cap, and I'm ready to go. And this is when a lot of those contracts expire. A lot of contracts expire in 2026. I plan on being the guy in free agency that year and kind of seeing what happens until we get to that point, because I don't think anybody has the flexibility like that 2 years from now. I mean, 721, 336, 704, 573, $0. Shout out Cam Hoon. The cap is real. It's coming. 452, 799, 284. I mean, I've got the most cap space by a long shot. Even these guys that are close, I'm still over $100 over. So,
well, and you consider the rollover. You know, like if you have injuries or whatever, it's possible that you can even roll over more than that. So, and that actually kind of segues into the next question I had was, you know, fast forward 2 years, and then you've got all this cap. You've made rookie picks. You've traded. Obviously your roster going to look way different then. Just blanket prediction. Where are you at the end of the 2026 standings?
End of 26. Oh, geez.
Fast forward 2 years.
Playoff bracket at least.
That's the goal. Yeah.
No, I think I'll be there, and I think I could just buy that. I mean, you saw how not easily, right? It costs a lot of trades, and it obviously mortgaged 2 years for me. But I bought my way into the playoff. I bought the number 1 seed this year, right?
Yeah.
Last year, I straight up bought it. I think if I do it intelligently instead of pretending the cap isn't real, I can buy whatever quarterbacks I want. I can buy anything I want. I can build my team exactly how I want in 26 with all that money.
Right.
And you
Yeah,
think
there'll be a lot of free agents.
Yeah, and I think the realignment happens after this year. So then I don't know. I'm going to fall in a weird spot with realignment. If you look at the record book as a friendly reminder, the top 3 teams and bottom 3 teams are completely split up. So my winning percentage is 48%, which is right in the middle. But I'm going to, because my first year sucked. My second year was free wins up for days. So I think I fall with Morgan and Allen's trajectory and my trajectory. I think I fall in the bottom 3. So I mean, I'll be in a division with other good teams, but where are they at? I don't think there's any world where I'm not in the playoff bracket in 2026, just based off of the income that I'll have.
Yeah, if you're able to buy a couple of good players and the rookies you draft, if you do draft rookies with the picks, by that time they'll have developed, and then we're looking at a completely different world.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm planning to do with these picks, right? Is picks are always currency. I'll always be willing to trade, but I'm going to be looking for players that are not developmental, that are going to be, okay, I need a year to get it going, and then I'm good, right? So I'm looking at players similar to this draft, like Caleb Williams, Blake Corum. I wouldn't mind sitting on for a year because he's going to be the guy in a year probably. They don't need them to come in and start immediately, but I think that I can pick people that, okay, once they've got a year under their belt, they're going to be fine. Like Penix could be that pick where I can trade back. Like I don't need 104 for Penix, so I can sneak back, take your late first and your next year's first to get a dude like Penix, because I'm not trying to compete in next year more than likely. So I think that I've got flexibility there. And you look at the expiring contracts in 2 years, there's a lot. I mean, there's re-signs and everything. I've got to figure out how to make that better. I got to just look at the old way. Hold on one second. Figure the contracts, again, the most underutilized thing. These are all the guys that are having their contracts expire in 2 years. So just to go off, this is for every position. Here's many on contract. Cap hit. Okay, cool. Everything's there. So just off rip, James Conner, well, he's going to be dead by then, I think. T. Higgins, Javonte Williams, Justin Herbert, Breece Hall, St. Brown, Waddle, Hawkinson, Mahomes, Metcalf, Olave, Chubb, Prescott, Tyreek, Hollywood. Like, I mean, this is just who's expired. And again, so this is the 5. So he gets 5, right? Nobody's re-signing Mahomes for $338 except for probably me. Breece Hall, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Hawkinson. So he re-signs all these. I think that the free agent pool is going to be more open. Nobody's re-signing Jefferson for $322 because it's 120% of that.
For sure.
Stevenson, you could. So I think I could buy whatever I need to out there. Burrow, McCaffrey. I don't think McCaffrey's going to be around then, right? But you've got, look at all these different. So this is just the quarterbacks that have their contract expiring in 2 years.
Right. Yeah.
Love, Rodgers. Well, Rodgers is retired by then. Herbert, Mahomes, Burrow, Dak. Love. I mean, there's something there.
They'll all probably still be, top 24 quarterbacks by that time.
Yeah.
And that's like,
Yeah, and so I think that's kind of the plan, is just to be ready to trade anything at any time. See what happens in the meantime. The Liquidators 2.0. I just can't be stupid as was this last time and just throw money and say I'll pay for everything for like little to no gain. I'm paying for too much here.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and this year's free agency, it did handle it or operated a little differently than the initial inaugural year, but this year's free agency, we really saw some guys go for really cheap because people were afraid to bid and then Rick be like, "Oops, gotcha," and it's like, you know, then they're stuck with that big contract. Rick had all the buying power and could set the market, and he was able to get guys on, you know, pretty inexpensive deals in the grand scheme of things. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, like the Josh Allen contract sucks, but if the ticket to ride have a QB1 for the next 3 years, I mean, like that's worth the money, right? So,
Yeah, not even a QB1, but maybe the QB1. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hoping for it at least. But anyways, so speaking of quarterbacks, I know that, you know, you're the proponent of in Superflex, get your 2 elite QBs and figure it the fuck out.
Yep.
So I've got a keep trade cut for you that's probably going to be painful. But you're going to have to keep trade cut Mahomes, Allen, and Stroud. What you going to do?
Keep Mahomes. We all saw that one coming. I think it's trade Allen, cut Stroud.
Okay.
There is a world where you switch Allen and Stroud based off of youth.
Yeah.
But I don't think. So this is where it gets fuzzy for me.
Here's a fun one. What about keep trade cut Mahomes, Allen, Stroud in this league with the contracts considered?
You son of a bitch. So here's the thing that I feel like we all forget is Stroud ended at QB 11. He scored 14 more points than Russ.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about it.
He's QB 3. No thanks.
Including contracts. Including the contracts, that really is going to hurt. But yeah, I mean,
Stroud's on the rookie deal.
Yeah, the rookie deal is really the cheat code.
Don't make me say Stroud.
The rookie deal is the cheat code. Well, I thought on the Cam Hoon interview that you had Stroud as your like QB3.
No, I said I said I can understand him being in that conversation. I would say Lamar is QB3, Hurts QB4.
Yeah, the rushing upside definitely is everything. But
yeah, that's where it gets really fuzzy for me. Is then it becomes, then that next group for me is Richardson, Stroud, Love. Richardson, Stroud, Love. But at that price point, at 105, I would rather have Love at 201 than Stroud at 105, I think.
Right.
But I'm always outspoken in my opinions on Stroud for some reason. I think in this league, keep trade cut, you've got to keep Stroud. I think you keep Stroud, trade Mahomes, and cut Allen, because Allen's contract's miserable. And at least Mahomes is expiring in 2 years. You can RFA him or trade him away.
You could restructure it, and then you could restructure that last deal or the last year of the deal.
No, because you've already restructured once. So you can't even mess with it. But
Mahomes was. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I forgot.
But this doesn't look as bad anymore. But the reason this doesn't look as bad is because this motherfucker costs you $320 in 2028 and $240 in 2027.
We don't know.
So on the surface, if you're trading me this, I still think I'd take. Oh, that's a fun one. Allen 164, 234, 164. I guess it's Allen then.
Yeah, I mean it's because Mahomes is what, $300 in year 2
next year. Yeah.
Whereas at least you have like the split up between, but then you got to deal with what I'm gonna have to deal with in 4 years or whatever.
Yeah, where there's no way to re-sign him. But you can't resign Mahomes at 138 or 338. I mean, if you RFA Mahomes, that's the only way he's going to get through, right? Like, is the RFA for him and for Allen. Whereas Stroud, you can keep forever. I mean, Stroud, I think, is the keep in this one because Stroud then costs 26, 34, 48, 72. If Allen resigns him, 72 in 2028. And then it's like probably 100 something in 29. I mean, assuming there's no holdout, right? But that's the risk you got to take. I mean, you got to go ahead and say, okay, well, hopefully he doesn't hold out. He didn't hit it once. He didn't hit it last year. So he's still 2 of these would still need to happen for him to hold out. So yeah, I think Stroud is the one that you keep. I would say trade Allen and cut Mahomes. So pretty much the opposite of another league.
Of a normal league, yeah. Well, those contracts definitely play into it, but also the contracts do like determine the holdout value, don't they? Because so I mean, if a lot of these like inflated contracts go away, the holdouts on these guys might actually not be as like
It
crippling.
doesn't hit as
So
hard. Yeah.
that's an interesting topic to consider.
I can't believe I had to say cut Mahomes. It hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of shocked. Even still, we're like, yeah, we're cutting homes like with
Yeah.
these contracts. But I mean, yeah, you would get how much cap would you get back? Say you still had him, you'd get back like
On that
$70
yeah, you
this
get
year, and then like
yeah.
200 something next year.
Yeah, something like that. 33% would be dead cap, and he was at 338.
So-
So, $112,
Yeah.
$113 would be gone, but you get 200 some back. Yeah.
K-Mig, just keep that in mind. You can always cut him.
No,
it's
no,
fine.
no. I told K-Migs he just hands him right back to me. No other
Right back.
idiot. No other idiot is paying this guy $338 next year, but I would.
Well,
So.
we've had a pretty good discussion about the league, the rules, all that stuff. We'll end with just talking about our current landscape. Any overrated, underrated teams that you've got in mind?
Yeah, so I just finished recording with Morgan, which means I heard all 11 of you guys say who is overrated and underrated. So for overrated, am I allowed to do a cop-out answer or no?
It's honestly, you're on the spot here, so whatever you got.
So my cop-out answer is anybody not in the division of death is overrated. None of them stand a chance. You have no hope.
Yeah.
You have no prayers. That's my cop-out answer. My real answer, I feel like Allen got a lot of shout-outs.
Yeah. But there's just no depth here at all.
Yeah, but everybody, I'm the only other depth hater. You don't need
I know,
depth.
right? That's
Depth
funny.
doesn't win you games. Like, so I like. Admittedly, I like. We'll talk. You and I are recording another show, probably not immediately after this, but very soon.
Yeah.
On the survey results, and I think I put Morgan in third, and I can't remember if I put Dan or Allen at 1 or 2. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
But I think Allen's fine. I think he's overrated just because people were saying he's underrated.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was underrated just because looking at his stars, but I mean, there's
so
a world if there are a couple injuries, then the depth is just not there.
Yeah,
And you're not just going to be able to get anybody off the waiver to produce.
yeah,
Not in this league.
yeah. I mean, I still think playoffs are. It's
Attainable.
brownout pandas inaugurals. Whoever comes in first place in Marcus Russell, whoever comes in first place in Achilles Smith, and then I think the liquidators are Seawards or the Ticket to Ride. I think one of these three takes the last spot. Because one's in the playoffs, then it's between those two. That's what I think, but I don't know. Everybody thinks they're competing this year, except for like 2.5 of us. For the most underrated team, I think it's Brownout. I don't see how they don't win again. There are some pieces here that I don't like. I'm not as high on A-Chain as everybody. Not as high on Wilson as everybody. Not as high on Ayuk as everybody. But his bench can beat my starters. And I think his bench can run with a lot of team starters as well. It's not even just a my team sucks thing, even though it's fun to talk about. And you guys can be nice to me now because I'm not good anymore. But Deshaun Watson, Bo Nix, Tony Pollard. He doesn't really have a good RB2 on the bench. McMillan, that's a receiver. Doesn't really have a good RB2, so please hold. Scary Terry, Jalen Waddle, Jameson, Goddard at tight end.
When he got Goddard for $8 in the free agency, which is
I just think his bench. Yeah, I mean his bench legitimately beats other team starters. So I think Brownout's the most underrated, even though he's highly rated. Yeah.
So Brownout's bench wins the toilet bowl versus the toilet bowl teams.
Yeah, I think he wins the extra pick bracket too.
That'd be fun to see.
Inaugurals. Actually, I'm going to change my entire thing. I think the inaugurals are overrated. Sorry, Cam. I know we were literally hanging out a few days ago.
Overrated? Okay.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't. So a lot of people are giving him credit. He still makes playoffs, but and maybe this is my ego speaking. He built a super team the same way that I tried to build one, except I think he did it a bit more intelligent. There's more pieces here than I had, right?
Okay.
But I don't think his pieces this year stack up to my pieces last year. I don't think
Yeah.
that, so Mahomes, Allen, CMC, AJ Brown, Kelsey, I
Yeah.
think that head to head beats Stafford / Geno and Murray, Gibbs, Stevenson, Pacheco. I mean, he's got me beating the receivers, right, with Chase and Cam loves his receivers. And yeah, that's what I was looking for. Jefferson, Chase. But like,
bench too.
I still think if you had taken my super team last year and played his super team this year, I think mine still wins.
Probably wins.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Huh.
game, but I think my team wins, and so that's why I think he's a bit overrated. If my cop out answers aren't too cop outy, which they are cop outy, I know. Yeah. Oh well.
No, it's always a fun time. But yeah, I mean those are all the questions I had. Do you have any final thoughts before we close this out?
No.
We got to do something about this site, man. This shit sucks.
I said do it once. Now you're gonna hurt my feelings.
Now I'm just
Keep an eye on
going after it.
Taxi.
Yep.
Make sure you read this if you haven't read this thing yet. I made it. It's
Yeah.
pretty. How Taxi and Practice Squad works. It's way different than it was before. Make sure that you DM me or Codes or both, or do it in your team's room in Discord if you need an IR refund. We are not going and looking for players who are getting hurt. We'll know if McCarthy gets hurt because that's the only big name so far. But we're not paying attention to that random dude on your bench that you signed for 2 years for some fucking reason. Morgan ends up on IR. Make sure that you know what the year one.
Back or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
Which I mean, hey, every dollar counts, but still.
Yeah. Make sure that you understand what Y10R means, or Y10C means in the, or it's Y10R. Whoops. I should change that here. Make sure that you know what that means. So when you trade for Matthew Stafford, who's a cheap quarterback contract, you think he's going to be a cheap re-sign next year, and it's really $300, you're not surprised. And if you haven't joined the Pick'em League yet, it's a chance to get 3.13. It's the only extra bonus pick we don't offer. There's 8 or 9 of us in there. It's on you if you're not in there. I'll probably add everybody about it soon. Just read this if you haven't read this. Some good, quick information. And yeah, fuck you, Dan. I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me host this time. It was fun.
It was fun. This wasn't terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we got.
Rick will have something to complain about because it's fucking Rick.
Yeah.
It's
fine.
not centered. I don't know.
Some website sucks. Some.
Something website's terrible. Yeah.
All right. Enjoy your night, everybody.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Looking forward to the season. Healthy season for everybody, hopefully.
Yes, please.
I'll see you guys in the toilet bowl.